He's lying, Mom. He's always hated me. Those words slid from her lips with the precision of a blade. My stepdaughter's eyes shimmered with rehearsed tears. Perfect, fragile, convincing. And Alina, my wife, the woman I trusted more than anyone, stood there, staring at me like the verdict was already decided. Hi, I'm Max. And I learned the hard way. Betrayal doesn't always come from enemies. Sometimes it wears your wedding ring and answers to Mom. You'd think years of loyalty, shared laughter, and late-night promises would mean something. But one poisoned sentence was all it took to destroy everything I'd built. That night still plays in fragments. The living room light, too harsh. The silence, too loud. Alina's eyes, too cold. Max, pack your things. I can't do this anymore. Her voice didn't shake. Mine did. You're throwing me out because she said something? No answer. Just that same blind mother's love I used to believe was mine. And in that moment, I realized I wasn't her priority. I was never even her choice. Every folded shirt felt like a funeral. Every pair of shoes dropped into my suitcase sounded like another goodbye. When the door finally slammed behind me, the night air hit like ice. I stood outside, my life reduced to one suitcase and the reflection of her daughter's smirk in the window glass. But life has a way of balancing its books. And their debt? It was heavy. 3 weeks later, Alina showed up, guilt softening her face. She asked if I had reflected, if I was ready to apologize and come home. I didn't walk away that time. I made sure they both felt the weight of their choice. The first week, I stayed at a friend's spare room, staring at the ceiling, replaying it all. Every message, every moment, every lie. My phone lit up dozens of times, never her apology. Only her daughter's smug posts, designed to provoke. For a while it worked. I was broken. But pain, it's a strange teacher. By the second week, the storm inside me went still. I wasn't sad anymore. I wasn't angry. I was clear. The version of me that begged to be believed died the night that door closed. So I began planning. I dug through my old files, financial records, property papers, everything proving how much I'd built and owned. She thought she could erase me with a slammed door. She forgot who she married. By the third week, I was calm, collected, rebuilding my mornings, one meal, one list, one silent promise at a time. So when Alina appeared again, standing on my friend's porch, I was ready. Max, she said softly, we both made mistakes. Maybe it's time you apologized and came home. The audacity made me smile. Slow, controlled. I did reflect, I whispered, handing her an envelope. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Divorce papers. Her face drained. Max, this is ridiculous. You're upset. We don't have to. You believed her lies without asking me once, I said quietly. You threw me out like trash, and now you want me to apologize? She's my daughter, she snapped. What was I supposed to do, ignore her? Those words, they didn't hurt anymore. They clarified everything. She'd never been my partner. Just a mother protecting her child, even from the truth. I stepped closer. My voice was steady now. You were supposed to be my wife. You were supposed to know me better than anyone. Something flickered in her eyes. Not love, not regret. Fear. The kind that comes when the ground under you starts to crack. She wasn't afraid of losing me. She was afraid of losing the life I built for her. Max, don't do this. Please. Let's talk. I'd done enough talking. My silence said the rest. And right on cue, she appeared, arms crossed, venom in her stare, victory in her smile. Good, she sneered. You finally learned your place. I met her gaze, calm, cold, untouchable. No, I said. I finally remember mine. Anyway, this time, her words didn't sting. They sparked something colder. I watched the first crack splinter in their perfect little alliance. Alina's eyes shifted, uncertain, studying her daughter with a flicker of doubt. The girl's smug grin didn't soothe it. For the first time, the harmony between them faltered. I almost pitied them. Almost. You'll regret this, I said quietly, closing the door behind me. They didn't know I'd already set everything in motion. The latch clicked. Their voices bled through the hallway. Muffled arguments, sharp accusations. To me, It sounded like music. The flawless mother-daughter duet had finally gone off-key. Revenge isn't fire. It's ice. Patient, creeping, deliberate. It doesn't burn. It freezes everything until it cracks on its own. Over the next few days, I followed every step I'd mapped out during those sleepless nights. My lawyer, an old friend, didn't need much convincing to handle things cleanly and without mercy. Together, we went through every detail: the house, the investments, the joint accounts. Half bore my name, half that she liked to call helping. She had forgotten that I'd built just as much of that life as she had, maybe more. And then there was her business, the same one I'd carried from a napkin sketch to profit, the one I'd funded when it was nothing but a dream. She thought it was hers alone. She forgot I had the contracts, the receipts, the transfers, the signatures. Legally, I wasn't just her husband, I was her silent partner. And silence was over. When she realized what I was doing, she panicked. Calls, messages, surprise visits. I ignored them all. Every unanswered ring was a reminder that she'd forfeited the right to my voice. Her daughter, of course, couldn't resist making it public. Bitter posts, cheap insults, desperate defenses. Each one screamed insecurity louder than the last. Their little war had begun, and they were unarmed. When the official court summons landed, it hit like a storm. My lawyer filed everything sharp and precise: division of assets, proof of investment, a clear claim to what was mine. I could almost picture Lena reading it, her confidence shattering in real time. In her mind, divorce was supposed to be simple. Throw me out. Watch me crawl. Offer forgiveness when I was desperate enough. But I wasn't crawling. I was climbing. And they were the ones losing their footing. 2 days later, I saw them outside the courthouse. Alina's expression trembled between anger and pleading. Max, please. You don't have to do this. Think about everything we built. I am, I said evenly. We built it, not you, not her. And I'm taking what I earned. Her daughter folded her arms beside her, voice dripping venom. You're just greedy. You never loved her, only the money. I almost laughed. Funny. I'm not the one who lied to destroy marriage. She lunged, but Alina caught her arm, hissing, stop. You're making it worse. Worse. The word hung in the air, because worse was exactly what was coming. My lawyer moved fast. Accounts were frozen, assets locked, properties tied up in review. For the first time, Alina wasn't in control. And for the first time, her daughter's shrieks didn't change a thing. But the sweetest part wasn't the legal victories. It was knowing I'd walked away with my dignity intact, my voice reclaimed, and my future free from the weight of their manipulation. Watching their perfect little bond fracture under the weight of consequences was justice in its purest form. She blamed her daughter for lying. The daughter blamed her for being weak. The same alliance that once pushed me out of my own home was now tearing itself apart, and I didn't have to lift a finger. But I wasn't finished. Revenge, after all, isn't about rage. It's about remembrance, making sure they never forget the cost of betrayal. When the hearings began, I sat through each one calm and steady while Alina's composure crumbled. The confident woman who once ordered me to pack my things now sat under oath, trembling, sweating under questions she couldn't answer. My lawyer cut through her lies like glass under a hammer. Every time she tried to downplay my role in the business, the evidence shattered her story. Emails, receipts, signatures side by side. With each revelation, she shrank a little more. And in the back row sat her daughter, arms crossed, glaring holes into me. She wanted me to feel small, invisible. But the longer she sat there, the clearer her bitterness looked to everyone around her. Whispers spread through the gallery, wondering why the girl was so angry while I sat still and unshaken. Then came the turning point. My lawyer leaned forward and asked, "Did you, or did you not, remove your husband from the marital home without discussion or proof of wrongdoing?" Alina stammered, eyes darting toward her daughter, but the girl couldn't answer for her this time. She was alone on that stand, choking on her own choices. I didn't gloat. I didn't smile. I just sat there, silent, letting that silence say everything. Later that evening, as I walked out of the courthouse, her daughter followed me, voice sharp with venom. "You think you've won? You're pathetic. My mom will never forgive you. I turned to her calmly. She doesn't have to forgive me. But one day, she'll realize who destroyed her marriage. For the first time, her face faltered. Just a flicker, but it was there. I slid into my car, the cool leather wrapping around me like armor as the city lights streaked across the windshield. For the first time in weeks, I felt something close to peace. Because revenge wasn't just unfolding in the courtroom. It was blooming in the cracks of their home, behind closed doors where trust between mother and daughter was finally breaking apart. And I hadn't even dealt the final blow yet. The cracks widened faster than I imagined. Word reached me through mutual friends that their perfect bond had turned sour. The mother began questioning her daughter, every excuse, every late-night story, every lie that once passed so easily. What had been blind trust turned to suspicion until one night she snapped, "You ruined everything." The daughter screamed back, blaming me, blaming the court, blaming her for being weak. Their war was no longer quiet. It was public, and I didn't have to interfere. They were destroying each other beautifully. The second hearing sealed everything. The judge ruled in my favor, half the assets, full recognition of my role in building the business. Her face drained of color as the words echoed through the chamber. Her daughter stormed out halfway through, slamming the door hard enough to shake the walls. That night, I received a short, desperate message from her. "Max, please. We can fix this. Let's talk without the lawyers." I stared at the screen for a long time. Once, I would have clung to those words. Now they felt hollow, almost insulting. I didn't reply. Instead, I planned my final, quiet act of revenge. My lawyer and I arranged to transfer my share of the business into a trust that funded scholarships for women who'd been abandoned or silenced. Every dollar she lost became a memory of me, and a weapon for someone else's freedom. When she found out, her rage was volcanic. Friends told me she screamed at her daughter, blaming her for pushing me to this point. The daughter yelled back that it was her fault for ever marrying me. Their alliance turned to ash. As for me, I stood on the balcony of my new apartment, breathing in the cool night air, free, untouchable. I hadn't just left her. I had rewritten the ending. The final hearing felt less like a courtroom and more like a funeral. Hers, not of her body, but of pride, power, and control. The judge's decision was final. I walked away with what I'd earned, and more importantly, my freedom. She sat there, shoulders slumped, her daughter whispering furiously beside her. But even the girl couldn't hide the panic in her eyes as their kingdom crumbled. I didn't rush out. I gathered my papers and walked past her slowly. She looked up, searching my face for pity, forgiveness, maybe hope. I gave her nothing. Outside, her daughter waited. No smugness this time, just raw anger that looked a lot like fear. "You destroyed her," she hissed. I tilted my head, calm as ice. "No, she destroyed herself. You just helped." She didn't reply, because she knew. Weeks later, I heard she sold the house, the one I'd once turned into a home just to pay legal fees. The business faltered without my quiet hand behind it. The daughter moved out. She was left alone, bitter, broken, and small. But I didn't watch with bitterness. I watched with distance. Because revenge isn't about shouting louder than the ones who hurt you. It's about living so fully that their betrayal becomes a shadow in your light. When the clerk slid the final papers toward me and said, "It's finalized," I traced my finger over the ink, closed the folder, and whispered, "It's done." I walked out of the courthouse not as an exile, but as a man who'd found himself again. In the weeks that followed, I built quiet rituals, early runs by the river, coffee that didn't taste like compromise, rooms arranged exactly how I wanted them. Until one morning, I got an email from the first scholarship recipient. "Your scholarship changed my life." And I realized revenge had ripened into something gentler, something powerful. While they circled the ruins of what they burned, I was planting gardens no one could torch. Later, a mutual friend said, "She keeps asking why you won't answer her." I just smiled. The question drifted away like smoke. The past was a closed door, and I had no reason to knock. One night, I boxed up the last relics of that old life, the ring, the keys, the photos, and walked them down to the river. I whispered, Thank you for the lesson. Then I turned toward the glowing city, finally at peace, knowing that the truest revenge was never their suffering. It was my freedom to live a story far greater than the one they tried to write for me. What do you think of this story? Leave a comment, drop a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more real life stories like this.